Hi legends, today I'm gonna do a get ready with me and also a story time on my car accident. An updated version, because I have one on my YouTube. So it was 2022 and me and my best friend, I'm gonna just name real names, okay, because I don't really think anybody will care. But we went to our farm, Sambane, it's amazing, and we were riding Polarises. It's like a golf cart but 4x4 for the farm. We were having a competition at the shooting range of who can shoot the best, okay? And Johannes was there. He's my helper slash family. And I won, obviously, because I'm just amazing like that. We went back home because we were tired and thirsty. Alyssa was driving and she didn't want to drive anymore, so the manager of the farm, so the manager's kid wanted to drive and asked him, can you drive? And he said, yes, I always drive my dad's bakkie, even in the door. What's a door in English? Even in the city. So we let him drive. We didn't even drive for 5 minutes before the accident happened. He was driving, there was a turn. He flat taps it, like he put the pedal all the way down, going as fast as he can, and turning the steering wheel like this, like he wanted to drift, okay? This is not a drift car, okay? So we almost went into the tree, and he did this so that we don't, and the whole thing flipped, okay? My brother jumped out of the back, like the legend he is. Alyssa was sitting in the middle, so she just like flipped on top of me, and the car also flipped on top of me. I was the only one that got hurt. So I was laying on the floor. I woke up because I passed out. First thing I did was check if everybody is alive. They were kind of like standing up, and after that I just checked if I had my phone, and then I went to lie down again. And then all of a sudden my leg started hurting, and I said, guys, my leg, and everybody came to me. Well, Johannes and Alyssa came to me, and my whole leg was turned around. It was broken, okay? My femur split in half. Everybody was talking about my eye, but my eye didn't hurt. Over here, it was open because I also hit my head on a rock. Everybody was talking about my eye, and I was just screaming about my leg. My brother and someone else went on his quad bike to go fetch my dad, okay? They came back on the quad bike and then went back again to get the car. Johannes turned my leg around, and while I was literally screaming, and he just held my leg in place. My dad came, they lifted me in the car. I was absolutely in so much pain. I was screaming. The manager, Alyssa, Johannes, and my dad, we all drove to the hospital, which was 2 hours away, okay? 2 hours away. So there's also a ground path that's it's full of rocks, okay? So the car was cooked like this. Well, my leg was broken and I wanted to shoot myself. It was so sore. It's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and I don't even remember the pain because it was that bad. Trigger warning. We took a photo. Come back for part 2 because this is getting long. So we stopped next to this random place. It was like next to a gas station, a petrol station, and they forced me out of the car to see a doctor. The doctor said, climb out of the car. I was like, buddy, I don't think I can. And they pulled me out of the car just to tell me, no, get back in the car, you're going to the hospital. Like, I know I need to go to the hospital. Like, dragged me out of the car, put me back in. Guys, it was so bad. The pain was very bad. And he gave me a ketamine injection. and I slept the whole way, but I woke up because the pain was so bad. I keep waking up, screaming, and going back to sleep, like passing out. We were finally at the hospital. They carried me out, and this loser guy at the front told me, "Is the tree okay?" I wanted to scream at him. I was screaming. I was like, fuck you. I was wearing my favorite pants, and they had to cut it off. I was also crying about that. So in the emergency room, they gave me x-rays, and they couldn't give me more medicine, like pain medicine, because I already had like a ketamine injection a few hours before. So it was working out, okay? So I started feeling a lot of pain again, and I was screaming the whole ER. So my parents and my dad and Alyssa and Johannes stayed for a while, and as soon as it started getting dark, they drove back because they still had to drive 2 hours back to the farm. They put this thing on my leg that basically, like, so because the bones were laying like this, so they basically put a thing on that stretched it so it's like dust, and it felt a lot better, but I was still in pain. So eventually, like late at night, they wheeled me to the ICU, where I screamed the whole ICU awake because the pain medicine was completely weared off, but they couldn't give me more because you can only have like as much as a certain time. Yeah. So the next morning, earlier, I went in for surgery, and they gave me an epidural in the back of my leg. The back of my back, okay? And it's basically the medicine that you get before pushing out a baby. So my legs, everything below my hips were numb, and I didn't feel my leg after the surgery for a while, which was very good because as soon as I felt it again, I was crying. And my aunt and cousin lived in Pretoria at that time, so they came to visit me and they brought me McDonald's, and I was so happy to see them, at least have some family with me because the rest were at the farm. Later that day, they did come back and they did greet me. So I finally got discharged after a while, but then a few days at home, my leg was swelling up. Like my left leg was swelling up. Trigger warning. It looked like a BBI went wrong. So we went back to the hospital. I got scans. It was a degloving atome, and there was 4 liters of blood in my leg. So they just left it for a while, okay? I had to wear postpartum, like maternity shorts that basically sucks in your tummy and like sucks in your legs. It's very tight. And I wore that for a while. It didn't help. It kept getting bigger, and then eventually it made a hole. So I went back to the doctor. They told me, just watch out if it's bigger. Anyways, it got a lot bigger, okay? And it made a big hole. Went back, got a surgery to like drain some of it out, and it just grew back, and the hole just kept getting bigger and deeper. So there was this big wound, and I couldn't walk, okay? We went back to the farm. I swam, with my wound, which wasn't good because I got sepsis and almost lost my life and lost my leg. Not good. So after that, I got very sick. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was so sick, I didn't notice I was sick because I was just sleeping the whole time and not eating, and I felt very bad, okay? So I went back to the hospital, got another surgery and a lot of antibiotics, and I got better. Part 3. So I got that, and I went back home, and it kept growing again. My leg swelled up again, and the hole kept getting bigger. So I went back to the hospital. By the way, I went like once a week. No, 3 times a week I went to Pretoria, from Joburg to Pretoria, because that's where I got admitted, because it was closest to the farm. So my doctor was there. The hole kept getting bigger. I had to see a wound doctor 3 times a week, and it smelled very bad. Shout out to Alyssa, because she was like a nurse. Every time I was home, she was here. She missed school. She helped me to the bathroom. She endured that smell. Let me just tell you, it smelled bad, okay? It smelled like rotten flesh and pus and TMI, but guys, it was bad. And Alyssa, she's thick. And in the night, my feet would get like numb, like completely numb, and it would hurt because I wasn't moving my legs. And Alyssa would wake up at 4 a.m. and massage my feet. So get your best friends like mine. So I went for another surgery. In total, I went for 5 surgeries, okay? And they put a drain in my leg, so the blood was draining out, out of my leg not permanently, but they had it in and I went home with it. So I had this little device that carried all the blood and this pipe coming out of my leg, sucking it, and it was very gross. And I had to go to school for a while. It was like a portable one, so I just put it in my blazer. And guys, it stank, okay? So when I was back at school, we were writing exams. It was raining that day and I fell on my crutches, and at first, it was sore, but it wasn't that sore. So I went home on the bus, and me and my friends were scheming because we didn't want to write exams. So I was like, I'm gonna be in a lot of pain, and I'm gonna go to the doctor, and I'm gonna stay at home because I wasn't at school, guys. So I didn't know a lot what was happening in school. So because I wasn't there, so I was struggling very much, okay? And I went to the doctor afterwards, and you know what? I actually did break my shoulder. But, my leg was so sore, I didn't even notice my shoulder, but it was broken. So I didn't go to school. And I was in a wheelchair because my legs don't work. I can't walk. Both of my legs are very much hurt. And now my shoulder's broken. So I was in a wheelchair. I really couldn't believe what was happening to me. That's why I'm smiling. It's like a shocked smile. Like, I can't believe this is my life right now. So eventually I went to see my wound doctor again, and they called the big doctor, the leg doctor, and he was screaming at the wound doctor because she messed up my leg so bad I was about to lose it again. And he was stressing out, and he said, you have to go to this plastic surgeon. And we went to go see him afterwards, and the next day I had surgery because it was kind of an emergency. So the next day I had to get surgery. Oh, I forgot to mention, the last time I had surgery, I stopped breathing mid-surgery. So they had to put a pipe down my throat. I woke up and it was like, why is my throat so sore? And the nurse was like casually like, oh, you stopped breathing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to surgery the next day, and I also drank hot chocolate in the morning. So they had to postpone my surgery. My doctor was very mad at me, okay? Very mad at me. Which is understandable because I messed up his whole schedule. Anyways, before I went into theater, they asked, did I have any problems in the past? And I was like, oh yeah, last time I stopped breathing, and they started laughing. I was like, why laughing? And they said, because you said it so casually. The last nurse said it very casually, so I was just like, didn't really matter, So after that plastic surgeon did his magical work, I still had a drain in afterwards, and it got better eventually, which I'm so thankful for. Oh, after that, I didn't see that wound doctor anymore. I got a new one. I went in like 2 times a week, then once a week, and then she gave me the instructions and a wound kit, and I did my own wound. I had to clean my own wound. There was still a hole, so I was literally doing surgery on my own leg every night inside of my leg. So, and it hurt very much, but I got through it. eventually it got better. I learned to walk again. I had some knee problems. I still sometimes do, especially in the winter. But the only reason I got through it is because God was with me. Jesus was protecting me. I could have died so easily. If my femur broke wrong, like if it broke in a sharp way, I would have died because your main artery is next to your femur. So I really think it's God that protected me and carried me through it, even though the devil, gave some challenges. I think I learned a lot, like not driving with people that always say they can drive. And yes, I was in very much pain. I was crying every day. I was on so many painkillers. I was high all the time off them. But you know what? I made it through. So, tough times never last. Only tough people do. And I couldn't do it without Jesus. So, bye guys.